So I wanted to make here a quick video about economics and investing. A lot of people do not understand investing. And people, when they go ahead and they talk about investing, they're usually focused on get rich quick schemes. It's usually people, they have a little extra money. They might have an extra $1,000 or $2,000 or $5,000, and they want to go ahead and put it somewhere where they can then flip it in a year or two or three and make 3-4 times their money. This is how people think about investing. The thing is, that type of strategy would require a lot of research, a lot of work, and luck, and people just don't understand exactly how that works. When you look at Shark Tank, those sharks will tell you we lose on most of our investments, and the ones we do win big, but overall it just kind of evens out unless somebody gets lucky. I just saw a video where Barbara, she made $37 million after a really good year of sales on these comfy, like, that she invested $50,000 into the business. She got a third of the business, and they made these comfy sweaters. And who else would invest, because it's such a like unique idea. But she invested, she liked the twist they had on it, and she thought she could sell it online. Right price point, they had all the infrastructure there in place, and it ended up being a hit. Okay, that's not replicable. Okay, if you do that like times, it might not work. Now, what's the difference here? Okay, why did that investment work? Maybe people would think, okay, I gotta find a sweater business to invest in because there's money in sweaters. No, that's not how it works. Economics is not an exact science. It's not a hard science. When you want to actually examine why that worked, and it's simply because there's an item that came out in the market that was marketed properly at the right time, where people just, all the zeitgeist just decided they needed it. It's the right price, and you had the right people behind it that were willing to work hard to manage this operation properly and hardworking and with marketing and supply lines and all that. Okay, you needed all those things to converge in order to make this a hit, which is not something you can replicate. You could try 1,000 times and it just won't work any of the times. People would say, Warren Buffett, the best ever, he'll tell you, look, the best way to invest is just keep saving consistently as much as you can into an S&P 500 index. Grow with the market, and that's going to make you the most money time than any other individualized investment would. And that is the proper advice. Okay, if you ever do want to invest in a single business or single stock, what you need to understand is that these variables are many. Okay, the type of variables that you should look at are the type of variables that I talked about. The number one most important thing is that a good product or service. Okay, it's very important, but that's not the only part of the equation. The other part of the equation is the actual behind it. You need people, hard workers, people as well, to bring this into fruition and to make it happen, to force it. You look at Cuban, he mentioned an investment he made, $1 million investment into a company. And it was some sort of, I think, tech company or something like that. They were impressed with the guy. And then all of a sudden, right when he forks over the $1 million, he sees the guy flying to Vegas to go partying, flying to all types of different vacation spots to go partying. And soon enough, within a year or so, the money was all spent. Okay, he just spent it. He's like, it's a marketing cost. Okay, he just spent it partying. He didn't actually really have the motivation and grit and the purpose to bring this into it was just too hard. Business is hard. Work is hard. Okay. And if you start getting some success, people start getting some money, they just end up spending it and just stop working. Okay. That happens most of the time. It's very rare that you're going to get somebody that's not like that. They have to be driven by something other than money. To give you an example, the head of ChatGPT, the guy that founded it, it's some kid from England, and he was thinking about this since he was like 3 years old or 14 years old. And he started working. His first job, I think, was at 16 years old. He was too young to get into the university he wanted to go to. And he worked at a video game company. And then soon out of there, when he was in school, he eventually started working on this AI problem, general intelligence, which is something he's been trying to work on for a long time. And when he went ahead and did that, um, documentary I saw, it actually goes through like this, like the tedious process of him starting at ground zero, coming up with ideas to help build this, algorithms, changing course, adapting, trying things, taking 2-3 months on an experiment, and then trying a different experiment and wiping out what they know and adding things, trying again. It took years to bring out ChatGPT 1, which was very primitive. And now we have ChatGPT 5. It's very advanced. But that took many years of hard work. And then there was exponential growth. But if you don't have somebody driven with a vision and a purpose, and then you also have the backing and you also have the ability to market and bring investors, but then also hire the right people, those things need to be in place for a business to work. It takes human ingenuity, not just one time. It takes human ingenuity every day for years to actually hit a home run every single day for years in terms of hard work and motivation to bring about a success. Now, when you're an individual investor and you want to say, okay, I want to invest in this company, that's why they say just invest in the top companies that have a track record of good company philosophy and good growth. Do that, and then you'll actually grow your money, rather than trying to find the smaller companies that might have crazy growth, but there's a million of them and only one might pop and you don't know which one that's going to be. But again, if you do want to do that, you actually have to go deep and look at not just the balance sheet, but also who's in charge, what the company philosophy is, what their vision is for growth. Because growth is not just a word that growth just happens. It doesn't just happen. You actually need tangible that would logically tell you that that company is going to grow, such as a new product. So for example, Tesla is going to come out with self-driving car business. Okay, they get a cut of everything. That's going to mean new revenue streams. Also, the Optimus robot, that's going to mean new sales and revenue streams and subscription services. That's going to bring more revenue. That's how you know that it's going to grow, because they're actually expanding their product line. Something like Apple, it hasn't really shown that it's going to grow into new areas. So now Apple's more like a utility, like an electrical company. It's going to continually make the same profits over time, unless Apple comes up with a new product or service that it could show, look, we're adding this product or service, the market's going to need it, and everyone's going to buy it, and then we're going to get new revenue from there. Then you can go ahead and say, okay, I'm going to make money too, more growth in the future, so that their stock price would go up. Otherwise, without growth, the stock price will stay the same, and it might just increase with inflation. That's another reason why people say invest in the S&P index, because even if it just grows with inflation, you're going to maintain your money at the very least. You know, so when people want to pick individual stocks, it's not just picking a stock price. The number of the price of the stock doesn't matter. What matters is the growth of that company, and you need to know the company to be able to at least begin to predict it, and you need to know the people who run it. Vision, and that's a lot of research. A lot of this stuff is not really going to be public. You're going to have to do research. That's the idea. People don't understand with investing. You can't just put your money in Dogecoin and expect just magically, oh, just everyone else thinks is going to go up, so it's going to go up. Usually stocks are going to do the opposite of what people think. Okay. Nvidia's pivoted into providing technology and all this stuff. That's where the growth has come from, because they're supplying it. So you would have predicted that. You would have predicted that with the advent of AI. You would have had to be around in 2017 to really get it, 2018, and get it back then, when no one else really could envision the future, no one else was really looking into it. And even people that were looking into it was kind of skeptical, because this type of stuff you were seeing was kind of very primitive. You really didn't have much hope in it. So you really have to be a visionary to invest. And even then, to invest in one stock, you need a big lump sum of money to put there and then watch grow 10 times. But if you invest in a mutual fund or S&P index, then you're going to get consistent growth over your lifetime, which will then eventually match the type of growth you could have got if you hit one lottery type company. So keep that in mind when you're investing. These are the type of variables you got to be cognizant of. People think gold, I just put my money in gold, it'll go up 100 times. No, like, don't work that way unless there's a reason. You have to have an actual reason to speculate that things will go up. That's why it's speculation. All right. Thanks.